Make math easier. Isn't that something we'd really like to do for our children? Oftentimes they say, why does math have to be so hard? Well, it doesn't always have to be hard, and I'm going to share with you some really good tips on how to make math easier. First, we have to look at the root cause of why it may be difficult. Just like the tree has roots for its foundation as big as the tree itself, math has certain foundational skills that need to be in place to really make it easier. Hello, I'm Dr. Jan Bedell, the Brain Coach. When I transitioned from being a public school educated teacher to a neurodevelopmentalist, I had to learn to think differently. We often sit beside our children while they're doing their homework and cheer them on or agonize over their struggles. But as a neurodevelopmentalist, we know that input is the most important thing. So when you think differently, you think input, input, input. Let me explain. There are really 3 keys to having good input. These keys are frequency, intensity, and duration. Frequency means how many times a day that you do something. Typically, several times a day is much better than just once for long-term memory recall. Intensity can come in many forms. One thing that makes it more intense is that you're doing it frequently and you're doing it for short periods of time. A great way to add intensity to a child's learning process in math is where you do a problem and then they do a problem. You do a problem, they do a problem. Oftentimes people look at me funny when I say this because they think it's cheating. Don't they have to do it on their own? Let's think about playing Mozart. Would you just teach them what the keys are and then put Mozart in front of them? Or would you do a lot of input where you do it and then they do it? Another way of adding intensity to math especially is to check all the problems that are correct. Now, what are we used to doing? We're used to putting emphasis or intensity on the negative, which is those that are wrong. Put a big red mark on them and hand it back to them. But if we check all the ones that are correct and then say, this one was almost right, let me show you how to do it, and you do it for them, how much better is their attitude going to be, and the input that they just received is going to accelerate their abilities to do it correct the next time. Duration, which is the 3rd key, has 2 different aspects. It's short periods of time, each time that you do your frequencies and intensity, and then over a period of days or weeks, and sometimes even months. So the keys are frequent information coming in intensely and then for short periods of time. I recommend not doing math for most children past 10-12 minutes. And if you're sitting there with them doing it, it makes it go really fast. They get the input they need, they're encouraged, and they start to love math instead of dreading it because they always have to make corrections and it's taking them so long to do it. There are several different products that I can recommend that can be used with these 3 keys to help your child do a lot better in math. One of them is the keys to fractions, decimals, and percents. These books can be found at brainsprints.com/products, and they are a great tool to use where you do a problem, they do a problem, because each book is just on that one topic. So you can get a lot of intensity on what a decimal is by you doing one, they do one. Our Early Learning Foundations is an amazing way to build that foundation that we were talking about because it includes the neurodevelopmental program where they're building the brain organization, they're working on their short-term memory, long-term memory, and It was designed with this frequency, intensity, and duration in mind. The Early Learning Foundations Level 1 is neurodevelopment, like I said, and just your pre-writing, pre-reading kind of skills. All of these activities that are designed in this program are taught on a website where you learn how to do the activity with a video. It comes in 3 different levels, and the level 2 and 3 actually teach their math facts in the program as well. Also included in the Early Learning Foundations, or sold separately, is our skip counting. This is very unique in that we take one skip count series and we do that over and over again, that's the frequency, for 2 minutes, short duration, and there's different fun things that happen along the way and different voices to add that intensity. So this is designed for that frequency, intensity, and duration, having that in mind. One thing I want to caution you, a lot of people do skip counting. They usually do it just one time and then they sing it to a song. We do it with other kinds of intensity so that you don't have to sing the whole song to get the information back out. If you think about learning something like the alphabet to a song and someone asks you what letter comes after H, if it's in your dominant hemisphere, you've learned it without a song, you just say I. But if you don't, you have to sing the whole song to get it back out. So that's the philosophy behind just putting it in dominantly with different voices and intensity. You know, the decimal system is often a little bit of a challenge for children to understand. So included in the Early Learning Foundations Level 3 is something called Decimal City, where we teach about the city and they can actually build a decimal city and see how much different 1,000 is from 1 unit. There are 2 different types of students that can be helped with visual circle math. One is the more gifted student that's ready to move on to higher concepts in math. Instead of going through a whole curriculum to get them there, you can use this to supplement and move them on to higher level function. The other person that needs the visual circle math is the one that's fallen behind in math, and so they can catch up quickly without, again, going through a full curriculum to get to a next level. What we're doing here is the same principle of frequency, intensity, and duration, where you have an instruction page and it gives you a script of exactly how to go about teaching a certain concept. And they use circles instead of their fingers for their math facts if they don't know them. On the first day a new concept is introduced, we want to have what's called an input page, where everything on that page is the same new concept, and we're doing it over and over again. You do a problem, they do a problem. You do a problem, they do a problem. It's amazing how quickly they pick this up when you do it that way. Another aspect of the visual circle math is where they do mastery pages. This is where there's a constant review of previously learned concepts and extra practice on the latest one that they've just learned. These are available in downloadable form or printed and can quickly get children either ahead or caught up to their grade level with this kind of effort. Less than 10 minutes, and you do it a couple of times a day. Going back to the foundation idea, not only do you need the knowledge of the concepts, but you need to know your math facts. Math facts are really a foundational cornerstone of math and help all of the child's math lessons go more quickly. To find out if your child really needs work on their math facts, you can go to brainsprints.com Math Proficiency and find assessments there for each of the operations and you test them for 1 minute and find out where they are, according to their grade level, where they should be in the speed and accuracy of their math facts. There are lots of things out there that say they teach math facts, but if you think about it, most every one of them, the flashcards with no answer on them, or the games that they play where they have to shoot something if they know the answer, those are all output. So if your child is struggling with their math facts, we recommend that you use rapid recall system. This is a system where the child sees, hears, says, and writes 5 math facts 14 times in one day. And believe it or not, it only takes 6 minutes to get all that done. And that's because they're given the answer. They're given the answer where they write it. They're given the answer when they see it. They're given the answer when they listen to it. It works so well. It's just amazing. You can see some testimonies on the store at brainsprints.com/products, and it comes in all operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So this foundational cornerstone is something that you really want to be working on to really make math easier. Let me give you one more hint that can really make a difference. That is from a neurodevelopmental perspective. If you have a right-handed child, you want to sit on their right side, so you're actually talking into their right ear. You put an earbud into their right ear when they're listening to their rapid recall, so that they only get the information through the right ear. Then it's stored in the right place. And when they're looking at things, you cover their left eye. The exact opposite is what you do for a left-handed child. You're going to sit on their left side when you're working with them. You're going to put the earbud when they're listening into their left ear only, and then when they're getting the visual input, you're going to cover their right eye. This is just a hint to make sure that the information is being stored in the dominant hemisphere so it can come out really easily when they're needing it. If you have questions about this or any other struggles that your child might be having, please go to brainsprints.com and look at the articles and things that we have there. Or you can contact us at office@brainsprints.com, and the phone number is on the screen. We also encourage you to subscribe to our Brain Coach Tips YouTube channel, where I give lots of free neurodevelopmental information that can help learning be easier for all your children.